Hey Thrivers, you're listening to episode number 16. This week we have with us Shari Medini, a local mom and founder of AdoreThem.com. Shari has been in the blogging and marketing world for the past 8 years, and she has this work from home mom thing down to a science.
Her work has been published on sites like Scary Mommy and Huffington Post, and she's an active mom to 2 little boys ages 5 and 8. In our toddler mom world, Shari is a pro. So grab a glass of wine or a strong cup of coffee and stay tuned for an amazing episode.
Welcome to The Thrive, a podcast for working moms. This is for all the women and moms listening. If you work from home, in an office, run your own business, or are the CEO of your family, this podcast is for you. Because at the end of the day, all moms are working moms. Rachel and Christine invite you to celebrate the victories, get advice, listen to their mom fails, and to know you aren't alone, to thrive in your everyday life.
Hi everybody, this is Rachel
And Christine.
Today we're really excited to have with us a guest who has a lot of experience in different things, but podcasting being one of them, which is exciting because we don't always record with people that have done this before.
That I will call a professional. You
guys
are putting a lot of pressure on me here.
You have some experience, so that is welcomed here.
So welcome to the show. This is Shari Medini.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Thanks for joining.
Excited. It's always fun to get to do other people's podcasts where I don't have to upload it, I don't have to edit it, I don't have to do any of that. I just get to come chat.
Oh,
Show
I
up and
understand
talk.
that.
Yeah.
So Shari is somebody that I connected with about 1.5 years, 2 years ago. I had hosted another podcast, which I've mentioned before, and Shari was one of my guests. And the studio owner actually had reached out to you, and I'm not sure if you knew him or if he just found you because you were a blogger.
I think I found you on Instagram, I think.
Okay.
Somehow. I don't know how. Maybe through like a Lancaster County hashtag or something.
Yeah,
and I was like, oh, cool. That's fun. I didn't know there was a podcast studio there. So we were able to I think I reached out to him.
Okay. Yeah. So, however...
I love social media. I mean, this is incredible, the way it connects people. So much good can come from it. I know.
It does. It does. I love that about it. And it was really fun getting to know you then, and we've kept in touch since, just, talking about different work things, since Shari freelances. Yeah. Not as much anymore.
No, I've really, over the last, year, I kind of gave myself that, not ultimatum, but kind of was like, let's give this a try. I've never been good at focusing on one thing and giving that one thing a chance because I love having my hands in a lot of different things. I love the excitement of it.
That is me.
Right. And this is why we've connected.
Yes.
But I was like, you know what? I'm going to see if I can really focus on AdoreThem.com, make that priority number one, and see what we can do with it if I give that my focus. Because the reality of it is other things might generate more income today, this month, but in the long run, am I shooting myself in the foot? I'm helping all of these other businesses succeed, but I'm not helping my own business succeed. So if I can take that step, and I can always go back to the freelance world easily. I know that there will always be plenty of work to do there. And I also know that my work on my own website is still experienced towards the freelancing stuff. I'm still writing. I'm still designing. I'm still working on the back ends of websites. It's all, that skill set is still being built.
So tell us a little bit about what your business is and introduce yourself.
So Carissa Tunis and I are co-owners of AdoreThem.com, which is a parenting website. We started in not this January, but the January before. And we came together and established this partnership. I've been in the blogging world for over 8 years, kind of doing odds and ends. And it was a chance to create something of our own and go about it from a different perspective.
And how did you get connected with her? Were you already friends before?
Friend of a friend.
Okay.
So we met at Lititz Springs because I was there with a friend and my friend knew her. And we followed each other on Facebook and kind of kept in touch. And she reached out to me the one day and she was like, hey, will you come over and meet? Do you want to come over for coffee sometime? I'm like, sure, why not? And she pitched this idea of having a website where it was parenting content, but it wasn't your traditional blog of like, you post every so often, or it's really like a personal journal, or it's chronological, that it's really set up as, we call them collections. So each week we have a collection on a different parenting topic with like printables, videos, guest contributors, like a lot of different pieces of content all around that same topic, a lot of different perspectives. And to pull that together, kind of like a magazine of sorts, that each week we get to dive into that topic more specifically.
And it is quite beautiful, like the way you have it set up.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's the best of trying to Google something where you're like, one site, go to another site, and it really doesn't capture the question you have as a parent, but you've done that.
A lot of our inspiration was even Pinterest itself. How you kind of set up your Pinterest boards. Yeah. And you have
based on your categories.
I can see that.
And
if you're listening at home, you have to pull up her website. Don't pause us, but pull it up. AdoreThem.com.
Multitask.
Yes, and just take a look. It's so pretty.
And if you're a new mom, I feel like you offer a lot of really great resources, because Shari is what I would call a more experienced mom. Because my oldest child is 3, so anyone with kids older than that is more experienced than I am.
Yeah. And I think that's why Chris and I clicked so well, too, that we saw in each other a very similar parenting style and a really similar passion for parenting, like the act of parenting.
Does she has 3 boys kids as well.
She has a girl. Well, now you're gonna quiz me. Her girl is maybe 9, and then she has 2 boys that are younger than that. So she has 3.
And your boys are all probably about the same age then.
Almost 8-year-old and a 5-year-old. So we were kind of on similar paths there, and similar tricks of like, the first year of our babies' lives were very, 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 very difficult for both of us. We did not have easy babies. They cried a lot. There was a lot of difficulties there.
Christine can relate.
No,
I know. I know.
That was sarcasm. Christine has the easiest baby ever, and she is so sweet.
I don't want to talk about it, but I had to be somewhere this morning, and I had to wake her up at like 8:15, 8:30, because she was still sleeping.
As long as you appreciate it.
I do.
Then we're good to go.
Every morning I say, good job, Nora.
Yeah.
You did it again. Let's do this tomorrow. I'm so thankful. It's the moms
that complain about their quote unquote fussy babies that have no idea. And it's not, I mean, and not to say that, I mean, that first year of motherhood is just hard regardless.
Yeah.
Like, regardless.
It is hard.
If it's not one thing,
it's your
it's
first
another.
child.
Yes. Yeah. But, so we have a lot that we've bonded over. And I feel like there's so many things that, one of my favorite things that she's ever written is this idea of what she does before they get out of the car, whether it's a grocery store, the library, a friend's house. Oh. She runs down through the checklist of the expectations while they're there. We're going to the grocery store. You're not going to pull stuff off the shelves. You can help me look for things. This is what we're looking for. We're not going to ask for any treats. We're only going to get, like, you're going to walk with me. If you run ahead, you need to hold on to the cart. Like, just recapping the list. And that article, this was before we started working together, she had published this article, and now it also lives on AdoreThem.com, but in the Raising Expectations collection. But I was like, genius. And like that tip alone, like, changed our trips. That, like, it dawned on me that my youngest is like wild child, like high energy, wants to run, wants to be silly all the time. And not realizing that, like, I never explained to him that, like, library is not for hide and seek. The library is not for games of tag. The library is not for yelling at the kids down the row and introducing yourself. And just running through that simple list of expectations changed our trip to the library.
That's so smart.
And like, doing it every time. You think, I
yes,
said it once.
Yes.
You got it.
No.
I teach second grade, so I know. And I feel like it makes me a better teacher, but then the students can be more successful. They know every time they hear the same message.
Yeah.
Yes.
I do that just with letting my girls know, like, so tomorrow is a mommy day, or tomorrow is Miss Jeanette day, and your babysitter's coming. And I've noticed that that's been helpful. But I love the idea of, like, before every trip and the library. Why didn't I think, now that you're saying it, it's one of those things, it's like why didn't I think of that before?
I know.
But that would probably help with our library, like,
craziness.
Things. Yeah.
I know.
So you shared that Carissa is your co-owner's name. You both write your own articles. So you are obviously both good writers, which is not my realm. So you publish your own articles, but then you also get articles from outside sources.
We do, which is wonderful with especially a lot of those like pregnancy or postpartum or, you know, it's so good. Even the pacifier stuff, like it's so good to hear from all these different perspectives that how did you handle it? How did you handle it?
And my baby, don't all agree?
No. And that's where like it's been fun for us that we get to share our own opinions, but we always preface it with that. Like that's our big overarching thing that we found as well, that you never know what somebody's story, what idea that's going to spark for you and which pieces of that you can pull together to create your own plan. But the goal being, the reason we started the site was that we want parenting to be an overall positive, enjoyable experience for people. And we're not there saying that like, yeah, this is all wonderful and every single second is like the most magical experience. No, we're willing to share that like this is hard. There are parts of it that are hard.
And
but
gross. Potty training.
Gross.
I never knew how gross it was. Well, your kid like poops on the floor. That is not glamorous.
You weren't here just earlier. Robert changed Morgan because she pooped the third time today, and it just got worse and worse as the day went on. And we're like,
what'd you feed her?
Nora, we talked about this. Keep this
But yeah, so like, but then even if you're struggling on like a bigger scale, like what practically can we do about this? If you're getting to the point where like was getting to the point with my younger one when he was younger that I felt like I couldn't leave the house with him. Like he was my runner. I couldn't trust him. It was scary. It was stressful, but it was one of those like, let's go back to the drawing board. What can I do? What can he do?
What did you do? Because I had a runner as well. My 3-year-old is just like finally out of that phase.
I was going to say a lot of it was just a matter of growing out of it. And sometimes it is your answer. Sometimes it is, we're going to give up on this for a month or 2 or 6 and go, because Giants open 24 hours, and go after they're in bed and my husband's home. And, you know, that giving up on something temporarily can be a solution. But
is that what you did?
I mean, I couldn't like not leave the house, but I had to really readjust my own expectations of like, and be very purposeful about when we go, I can't expect him to walk. I have to always hold his hand. I have to always have him with me. And also reminding him, once he was old enough, of like, again, the expectation, but also like the safety stuff.
I was going to ask if you did anything like practical safety. I mean, I consider it practical safety. I got Reagan the backpack with the leash.
Right.
Because it was terrifying that she could just run away. So it gave her enough slack that like I could let her walk with me.
A lot of it was the wagon. We took a lot of places.
Okay.
Like I had a wagon for him. He hated the stroller, but he didn't mind the wagon. But I could buckle him in.
Yeah.
And knew like he was there. And, you know, it was some of that. I think one of the turning points for us, unfortunately, was him scaring the crap out of himself, because we were getting ready to, we live across from our church. And we were getting ready to walk across the street to go to church. And I'm holding him tight because I know I have to. And the difference between him and my older son, I have to be like, you know, he's always off in his own head. And I have to be like, okay, we're going to be able to go soon. Are you ready? Get ready to walk. All right, now we need to go and go. Like I have to give him like 5 of these warnings till like we can actually go. Not thinking that Julian is so not that way. And I was like, okay, we're going to be able to go soon. Rips his hand out of mine and takes off. And like the car, like he was far enough away that like it wasn't horrifying, but close enough that like it scared him.
So and it was almost got hit.
Almost got hit.
Oh my gosh.
And it was one of those for me, like a leash kind of moment of like, wow, I thought I was holding him tight and he still ripped his arm out of my hand. It was one of those like horrific parenting moments, but it was also a turning point for him to realize like it scared him.
Oh, like when mom says it scared me, she's right.
And it was like, that is obviously not an ideal situation, but it was definitely a turning point and like, oh, I need to listen a little better. But I think
sometimes with like strong-willed kids like that, like...
I know, there's only so much you can say or do.
Yes, like at some point, I think they might just have to learn on their own, because Reagan has given us similar scares. Nothing with a cars.
Ugh, it's terrifying.
And every time she's ran away, it's been with our dog, which is also helpful.
It's like a partner in crime.
He's huge. Well, he's like 100 pounds, so it makes me feel a little bit better that this girl walking around with this huge shaggy dog. Hopefully, no one's going to mess with her because they don't want to mess with the dog.
Yeah.
And also, if I can call Charlie and entice him to come home, she'll usually come home.
It's scary.
But yeah, she's gotten out once or
scary.
twice, and they've been out of my sight, and I've been like, oh my
I know.
gosh.
But they're like all business. And that's how the Julian was. I lost him at the Reading Museum because
I love that she just says this. Christina's looking like horrified.
Are you serious?
And I'm like almost like, I'm glad to know this. I'm not the only one.
Like,
and you're just so practical about it.
Heart, I can't imagine.
Yeah.
But
so you're just so calm and cool explaining
it
all
was
this.
at an exhibit.
Like, oh, the time I lost him.
This was long enough ago that I've had time.
Okay.
Right.
But knowing his reason was not... It was not to be naughty. It was not to run away. His reason was he was playing with pretend food. And he came over and he was offering us more and more. And I did too good of a job acting and saying like, oh, Julian, I'm so hungry. Will you please get me a snack? Meaning, go over to the pretend food and bring me a snack. This kid walked down the marble staircase, down 3 flights, to the concession area in the front, in the gift area, stole 2 Rice Krispie treats.
Oh my gosh!
Walked all the way back up.
He didn't just run away, he stole. Oh my god!
Came back so proud of himself that he brought mommy snacks. And I was like,
so loving.
all I'm picturing, once I noticed, because it was like right around the corner, and I was watching the other one, and like, he didn't come back around the corner, quickly. And by the time, in that amount of time, and I'm like, all I'm picturing is that he's like tearing down artwork or like knocking over the suit of armor, and I'm going to owe this museum millions of dollars, and like all of this craziness.
Just a few dollars for the snacks.
And I look over to see the staircase, and I see him toddling. He was 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Toddling back up the staircase, holding these treats.
Oh my gosh.
And it didn't dawn on me initially, but I was like, what? You cannot. Like, I was so upset. And he just starts bawling, was so sad. And then I realized, I was like, did you go get me a snack? And he was like, yes. And I'm like, okay, one, that is so sweet. And you were so independent and you were so driven. And I'm like, I'm super impressed that like you were able to do all of this without getting caught. But like, oh my gosh. And it was another one of like, that was another one of those things. Like, this is what my child is capable of.
Yeah.
But like, and like you said, for better, for worse. No. No.
They could just go on their own adventures together. They wouldn't even need us.
I know.
And Nora would just like wave goodbye and sit because she doesn't move for anything.
Oh my gosh.
But it just struck a chord when you were talking about just, yes, him being so active, and you said changing the way you looked at it, not necessarily giving up, but reframing your thoughts. And what came to my mind is just how many seasons are in motherhood.
Yes.
And so seeing it in that lens, obviously, like, let's practically try to work with this and keep our children safe, but also knowing it is just a season. So while it feels horrible now, and while maybe I can't go places that I wanted to go, or maybe I have to, like Rachel, I know you have a lot of locks on your doors, and that might be kind of annoying.
We do.
Yes.
But you see it as a season, and that is temporary, and you just kind of buckle down and ride the wave. Who was it? Our last guest, someone said that with busyness. They just said sometimes
Sarah. She made this great analogy of like, you've just, sometimes life gets crazy busy, but you just ride the wave, and then it'll calm down.
So that's what came to my mind when you said that, and I'm sure you have been through many a seasons.
Well, I wanted to ask, now that he's the 5-year-old.
Yeah.
Is he going to kindergarten this year, or he's going first grade?
He'll be headed to kindergarten, which is crazy. And
how's the behavior? Like, that's what I'm wondering about, because I feel like Reagan is still pushing my buttons, and I'm hoping there's like a light at the end of the tunnel.
No, and that's where like preschool, he was such an angel.
Reagan's going to preschool.
An angel. Like, I like warned them, and they're like, oh, it's never an issue. Like, he doesn't run from, like, he doesn't.
I just had someone tell us at church at the nursery the other day. Oh, great. Now my nose is running. I just had somebody tell us when we picked up Reagan that she was such a great helper.
Yeah.
They're like, she was such a great helper to all the little kids.
Yeah.
And I was like, my child?
Every parent at conferences, when I tell them how great they are, how helpful, and they're like, they're not like that at home. And I'm like, well, if you had a choice, would you rather them be that way at school with their friends?
Yeah, like it made my day. It was
Yeah.
fantastic. But I'm hoping that maybe like the normalcy of preschool and following directions and sharing like will stick. Because she really isn't a bad kid. Like you said,
so much of
it's
it
just like...
is growing into that independence, growing into that brain, growing into to the point where like and understanding the safety awareness. Like it was never a matter of disobeying or anything like that.
Right.
It was just a matter of like
you knew
but
your
it was
child.
a matter of like, oh, I know how to do this. So I'm going to go do it. I know how to cross the street. I know how to go get snacks.
Like I just went outside and down the road to chase a bunny.
Like, I'm safe. I got this. And so much of it is growing into that. And, you know, I've seen that in my 8-year-old where like my mom made the comment when he was a baby where she was like, he just hates being a baby. She was like, wait until he can walk and talk and you'll have a different kid. And it was so true that like
that is so funny.
He is amazing and independent. And I joke that kind of thing where I'm like, I feel like they could, you know, he could go live on his own. That like, he's always been that way. Some of his first words were self. He wanted to do everything himself. Like, and it's that kind of thing where like, you know, there's definitely seasons to it. And it definitely is interesting to kind of see where that goes. But the other piece of it is it hasn't even dawned on me yet that this fall, I'm going to have Monday through Friday, 8 to 2:30 to myself for my work. Like
Yes.
It's a whole different thing.
I wanted to ask how you juggle that because your husband is also, he works full time.
Yes, and some.
So you are the one that does most of the taking the kids places and all of that good stuff.
Yep.
And so then when do you work right now? Like for the summer you said.
I know. So this was kind of this was a leap for this summer where I knew, knowing that they're both headed to school, you know, full time, and wanting to give them that summer break, and it's not a long time, and wanting to, also me wanting to have that time with them.
Absolutely.
I miss my, you know, now he's going to be third grader. Like I miss him. I don't get to see him all day, every day. And by the time he comes home, he's tired and exhausted, and we have to do dinner and homework and everything else. And like, I just miss that, like, you know, sitting on the couch together.
Well, that's what my husband always jokes about me because I'm a school teacher. And so my family calls me teen, and he loves summer teen.
My baby calls her teen.
Yes, Rowan calls me teen.
I
Robert
love
just
that.
he's like, I love summer teen because I'm just more relaxed, and you obviously have more time, and I'm spending more time with my baby, which I love. And so I'm sure for kids and for you feel that way. It's like, oh, summer you is so different.
Yeah.
So you get that for so long.
I get to go back to, because I love the stay-at-home mom aspect of things. I love that.
Yeah.
And you miss that once the schedules start to fill up. So it is nice to get that glimpse of things again and go back to that a little bit. And, but, you know, now, because I made the decision that, like, no camps, like, nothing this summer. We're just going to be home together. Because also at 5 and 8, you are old enough for me to be able to say, I need to go do this call.
Yeah.
I need to go do whatever.
Plus we have iPads.
I
can't wait for that. Like,
you still can have your routine or like
them.
get things ready, get things done yourself, and then family time.
But also, again, expectations. Knowing that if I want to have focus time, sit down and actually get somewhere, it's going to have to be in the evening again. And shifting back to what I did when they were babies, that I worked, 8 to midnight instead of in the middle of the day.
I feel like my husband needs to listen to this episode because I want him to know, like, I'm not the only crazy person that does this.
Yeah.
Like, that's when I do a lot of my work lately because with him
you
working
can get
a lot,
into the flow.
Yeah. Like that's when I feel like I do my best work. And when he's working a lot of hours, he'll want to go to bed by like 8:30 or 9. So I'm a night owl. Like I don't want to go to bed at 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
I would love to just stay up and get my work done. And then during the day I can have, like you said, like more time to spend like quality time with my kids.
But also being able to, like, I feel like they're kind of understanding what I do too. And like even heading here tonight, like Julian was like, why do you have to leave? Why can't you just do work here? Like, why do you work? And I went through and I explained. And then I added on to the end and I said, also because I enjoy it. And I like using my brain for different things. And he was like, okay. Gave me a hug and a kiss and let me go.
I'm always like, because I'm with you all day.
Right.
Because sometimes I always say sometimes mommy needs time with her friends so that I can talk to other mommies and get ideas about how to be a better mommy.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know where that came from, but the other day I was like, what if I find out about a cool place that one mommy goes for play dates? And then we could go there.
Right? It's like, okay, bye, mommy.
Yeah, she thought it was like the greatest thing. So now
Smart.
I always tell her, like, I go and I get advice and I find about fun things from other mommies.
Yeah. But the other piece of it, I'll tell them too, that like, when he was complaining about having to go to pre-K, like the couple days a week for half days. And I said, when you get there, are you the first person that's there? No. When I pick you up, are you the last person to be picked up? No. There's kids that are there every day, all day, because they're, their parents have to work different places. And I was like, I have to work on my computer right now, but I can do it beside you. Do you want me to send you to daycare so that I can work? No. I'm like, okay, then you need to be quiet. You need to give me a half hour so I can answer these emails. And like, they're old enough where they can understand that. But I think it's important for me to remind myself of that too when I'm feeling guilty for stealing time away. That it's also like, okay, but in the grand scheme of our day, if I'm carving out an hour and then we go to the park, a lot of parents aren't that lucky to get to even have that option. Because I think so often we get caught up in like, oh, it's so crazy to juggle working from home and kids and all that. And it is totally crazy. But given the option, I can't imagine having to get everybody up and out the door every morning and know that
that's what you do.
I don't know
and
how. And knowing like every evening you're coming home and knowing you have to do it again tomorrow and prep for it.
That is exactly what I said to Robert, like the last few weeks of work.
Yeah.
I was so glad to get off that hamster wheel. Just something as simple as having to get 3 bottles ready every day. I'm like, I have to wash all 3 of those. Now, mind you, like, I have a whole kitchen of dishes to wash. But it was just having to do the same thing over and over again and getting her ready. And I'm thankful that I have a really supportive partner that, like, we would take turns and he would take her. And I don't know how I would have done that without him. But I have to try in my own mind to say, well, this is the way it is. So this is an okay normal and not feel annoyed by it.
Right.
And also you shouldn't feel guilty for that either because you're working hard. And I read an article recently that said like daughters of working moms like are more successful or something like that. And I was like,
yeah.
Nora.
Because the flip side of it is there are days where like I have back-to-back calls or something going on and I'm like, oh, you just watched your iPad for 3 hours. Maybe I should put you in daycare where you're actually doing arts and crafts and getting interaction and like doing that. So like I don't ever like judge that side of things either because
I'm glad Nora went to daycare. As much people would ask me how it is having her in daycare and working, and I miss her, but I was never sad about being in daycare because she was around kids and she would come home and know how to turn the page of a book or she knew how to sign more and they're teaching her that and she's surrounded by such positive influences and like she just gets to play all day with her friends and babies don't have a concept of time. So I knew she's not like
right.
But if you're listening and you're in the area, I feel like you should totally shout out You Grow is where Nora goes, right?
Yeah,
where she went this past year.
That's great.
Yeah, they were amazing.
Because my niece goes there as well. And I was going to say, I feel like this morning I had like a glimpse of what my life will be like in 5 years or whenever my kids are in school because last night my niece Maddie stayed over and usually when she stays over she just spends like the day with us and we play or whatever. And Keaton, my brother-in-law, dropped her off last night and was like, I completely forgot that she has a field trip tomorrow at You Grow. So I was like, well, first of all, that's really cool. Like that over the summer, like for the kids that have,
they have really good programs.
Yeah, like they have summer programs and she gets to go on field trips and things. But I was like, well, what time does she have to be there? And he's like 7:30. So I was like, Kyle, when are you going to work? It worked out that he was able to take her on his way to the office, which was perfect. But I had to get her up and like get her dressed and get her breakfast. Like I had to get her breakfast, which is like, obviously you're probably like, duh. But like I got her up, I got her dressed. And then we were just like standing around because it was like 6:30 in the morning. That's very early for me. And I was like, so do you want to watch cartoons? And then I was like, wait. I was like, do you eat at You Grow? Does daddy feed you? I was like so out of like the grown-up
like,
kids.
This is not my realm.
No. And she's like, no, daddy usually gets me breakfast. And I was like, should have told me, or I would have just been like, let's watch cartoons until it's time to leave.
Yeah.
So
I need to eat. Okay.
Yeah. So I was like, how's cereal? Like, I am not making anything at this hour. But it made me appreciate my own mom. Because I remember that she would make us, like, real food for breakfast, and God bless her, like, she had 3 of us to get off, and we were never in the same schools. Because I was so much younger, she always had, like, one elementary schooler. Like, at one point, it was, like, elementary, middle school, high school. So,
Crazy.
That's tough.
yeah, that is a lot to juggle. Hey Thrivers, if you've been listening and you would love to join the Inspire Business community or a mastermind group like you've heard us talking about tonight, I have a special coupon code just for you. If you use code THRIVE20, that's THRIVE20, you can save 20% off of any workshops or upcoming events, or you can use that towards a mastermind membership and save $100 off your membership for the year. So this is an awesome chance for you to get involved, and I would love to see you at an upcoming event. Again, it's Thrive20, and I hope to see you soon.
The other thing that's really interesting, I was part of a like virtual moms group for a little while, and most of the moms were actually from the Boston area. And culturally, it was so different where it was like, no, you have like 6-8 weeks and then you go back to work. And all the babies are in daycare all day, like 7 to 6.
Imagine.
Like, you know, and it is what it is. And then a lot of them were Jewish as well. And they were like, I can't wait till my kid turned, I think it was 8 maybe. And they're like, because then they go to summer camp all summer. We send it like they leave and just go to summer camp. And my husband and I get to vacation and do whatever, like not have a kid for 2 months. And it was so interesting to hear that, like, and then they were, of course, fascinated with, like, mine, like, oh, no, a lot of moms stay home where I am. Yeah. But, like, for them, like, cost of living and stuff, like, you can't. Like,
yeah, you have to work
You
full-time.
need 2 incomes. And it just, but also culturally, like, it was just, that's what everybody does. Like, it's not even a question. Am I going to stay home or am I not? Like, they were so fascinated by, like, well, what do you mean? You still like, like people like, and I'm like, a lot of people do.
Stay home sick?
Yeah. Like,
They stay home and work.
But it was so good for me to hear because I was feeling that guilt of like, oh, my kid's in childcare 3 days a week. And I'm like, oh, I should not be feeling guilty about this. Like,
no, and even if yours are in childcare numerous days a week or whatever, I feel like you just have to do what works for you. And I love that about your collections. I feel like they really, like you said, they touch on all different types of topics and they share a variety of opinions. I wanted to ask if you have a specific parenting topic that you like to touch on the most. Like, is there something that you feel like you share a lot about just because of your experience with your kids?
I feel like whenever we're able to dive into kind of like those like practical parenting tips or like, you know, we have like a child behavior collection and stuff like that, because prior to having kids, I worked, if you're local here, for a youth advocate program as a TSS and then as a program coordinator and working one-on-one with kids with mental health disorders and stuff. And I learned so much about parenting through those experiences.
Real on-the-job training, I'm sure.
Yes, it was incredible. And to know that, like, okay, I was able to see behavior shifts in the kindergartner that, you know, that was biting and kicking and whatever to get them to the point where they were actually participating and learning and, like, not having incidents. And, okay, if I could do that, I can deal with this, you know, I can help, you know, my own kids and understanding kind of I need to occasionally take myself back to that therapist type perspective of, what's the solution here? What can we do about this? How can we strategize? Like, what would the behavior plan be for
that's
this?
exactly what came to my mind when you said that about your son running, and you're like, what's the solution? Because that's where my mind jumps to very quickly.
Like,
what's the plan? What is our, one behavior we're trying to change, and then how do we work with that?
Oh,
which is hard. Like, I feel like I've been quite a few years removed from that, so it's not like my instinct anymore. And also, it's 24/7, and you start to realize the parents that I was working with were like, I'd be like, well, you just have to be consistent. Well, when you are dog tired and had to fight that same battle, not just for 4 hours or the school day, but like all day, every day, like that's where you get that perspective of like, I understand why, you pretend not to see things.
Right.
You don't follow up on it. But I do love writing about that and offering. I've always kind of loved collecting ideas and information and then being able to curate that and share that with people and say, here's a situation, here's something that might help.
So now your collections have articles written by, we already said you, and you get other contributors. And I think you mentioned this, but what else do you have included in the collections?
So each collection we're working on, we have a printable, some sort of printable to go along with the topic. We'll do a video for each one, and working on building out conversation starters for each one.
Oh, that's so cool.
Conversation starters for your kids, like just simple little questions on the topic.
Yeah.
To whether it's family dinner or you just want something to kind of broach that topic with them. We feature a product for each one too, so something that might go along with that either we've found helpful or it's just kind of fun or cute.
What's the product for this current collection of summer?
We have, it's a towel that I found on Etsy, and it's this cute, one of those circle towels, but they personalize them.
Oh,
so
cool.
it was like, summery fun. Like, I have fun going and searching for these products. Or like, I'll even go back through like my Amazon history and be like, okay, what were the things that I like really enjoyed? And pull from some of them. So
that's awesome.
The potty training one is obviously like, okay, this is like the travel potty that has been a lifesaver. I'll make sure I share that one.
So that
I need to get one of those.
Okay.
Yeah. Patette with the absorbable liners.
Oh.
That we still have in the car for like road trips, side of the road things.
Right. I had to do my first
car sickness.
My first side of the road stop on the way to my sister's last week.
Mm-hmm.
Because
did you have to go
Reagan,
to the bathroom?
I just couldn't hold it. No. Reagan said she had to go, and at the age when they're potty training, you can't be like, well, just hold it for a few more minutes.
Right.
I was like, oh my gosh, she's going to pee in the car. Yeah. So I stopped along the turnpike, along the Pennsylvania Turnpike, and she got out and she peed, and she took her whole shorts and underwear off to do it.
Gotta. Go mama.
I've had a lot of friends use that one too. Even at the park, like if the bathrooms are closed at the park or something, and be like, I have a potty in the back of my van.
That's awesome.
You're the coolest parent at the park.
Oh my gosh, so funny. But yeah, so I'm trying to think of what else. We have shareable social graphics that you're welcome to like download and share out for yourself. Just kind of fun stuff there. And we've also been working with guest contributors to offer a recipe of the week as well. That's kind of on theme.
Oh, nice.
Cool.
Something like really simple, like easy, like I love, Lindsay has done a lot of them for us, which she's been incredible. And something so simple as this week, it's like watermelon sorbet, which is literally just cut up watermelon, put them in the freezer, and then put them in the blender with a little bit of lime juice. Like, simple stuff like that, where it's like,
really good.
Anybody can do it.
I haven't thought of that, though, but I could do that.
Yeah.
Now I want to do it, because that's easy.
And sounds delicious and refreshing. And but it's all of those. So we try to keep them, we didn't want the recipes that are like, all right, go to all these fancy grocery stores and find all these ingredients and get really exotic. It's like, no, what is your kid going to actually enjoy?
Things that you can do with your children.
Yeah.
Cutting up watermelon or putting it into a bowl and then pressing the button on a blender. So
that's something Reagan loves doing actually with Kyle. Like they cook together a lot because she always wants to have her hand in things.
Yeah.
And she like always wants to help. So I'm like, all right,
have at it.
You teach her so that I don't need to do it.
And hopefully she learns even more to be a real help as she gets older. Will she be able to do more? And not
no, she is great with that. Like when I feel like with a busy, that's what we refer to her as. She's very busy because she's not always naughty, like you said. She's just busy. Mm-hmm. And so I've noticed, like, if you give a busy kid something constructive, they will be fine. Mm-hmm. If you let them unattended without constructive
My boys
things,
like missions.
Yes, I do that when we go on walks.
Yep.
Just going on a walk. Sometimes she complains about going on a walk. And our babysitter loves to take the girls on walks because, like, Rowan, my little one, loves it. And so I'll make her, like, a scavenger hunt. Mm-hmm. And, like, on their walk, they have to find, like, a rock. And then I'll make it hard and say, like, a feather. Or like a toad. I mean, she never finds half these things. But she looks the whole time. And so
one day she's going to bring a toad. Just so you know.
Oh my gosh.
Even if it's not on the current scavenger hunt week. Remember how you told me to find a toad last week?
Oh, well, speaking of like toads and things, not toad, but we have a lot of like little animals and creatures around where we live. I'm always impressed because my mom thinks we live like in the city. And I'm like, we don't even live close to the city. We're like outside the city now, Mom. But we live in Manheim Township. So yeah, it is more built up than where my parents live in like the middle of nowhere. And so I'll send her videos of like, look, Mom, there's a hawk sitting on that tree. Or right now we have all of these bunnies. And
we do too.
When my husband was mowing like a few weeks ago, we rescued a baby bunny. It didn't get injured, but I don't know about the rest of its family members.
Story. He was mowing and he did not rescue the bunnies that he did not know.
Well, we rescued one and then we didn't know where to put it, that like we didn't want it to be in the yard again where like our dog or like the neighbor's dog could get it. So it was like a group effort because like the neighbors, the little kids from the neighbors actually saw it. I went out and picked it up and then like 6 kids followed me and, you know, we all said goodbye to him and we released him like a yard over where they didn't have a fence or a dog. And the other day we saw this little bunny hopping through our yard, probably a different bunny. I mean, maybe it's the same bunny. And Reagan's like, look, Mom, it's Thunderprints. That's what she named this rabbit like a month ago. And she remembers everything. Yeah. And so now we always go on like little adventures like, and I'll be like, maybe we'll see Thunderprints.
Oh cute. But I did want to mention too for the website that if you guys, like we said, we're always accepting guest contributors. And we also, on our, if you go to adorethem.com/submit, you can find like upcoming topics that we're going to be doing and stuff we might be looking for. But we're always open to working with like businesses, small businesses, bigger businesses, and we offer a variety of packages in that regard too. So if you're ever looking for kind of like the promotional, get in front of that parenting audience, that we're always open to that.
That's a really cool opportunity. Or if you're looking to get your writing in front of a large audience.
Yeah, we really try to give you guys highlight and share with like our social platforms too. I know as a writer, it was always frustrating when like you would submit your work and then it like, great, it lived on their website, but like, that was kind of it.
Yeah.
And then it went away. And we really try to make sure that we're continually sharing out that stuff, you know, and giving that social media shout out as well. Because it does go a long way. It does matter. It does help.
Yeah. And that's how I find interesting people to follow sometimes. Like, if somebody I really appreciate shouts out somebody else, I'll be like, oh, I should click on that.
You go down that rabbit hole.
Yes.
That Thunderprints.
Yeah. I love that.
But the other thing that we are currently working on and have not launched yet, but it should be hopefully this summer, we'll be launching soon, is offering a content kit of parenting related articles, stuff that we know draws in that parenting audience, that those moms, and offering a content kit bundle where it's like, here you go, here's your content strategy and the content, the text, the graphics, all of that for a year. And you get to use that for your own small business.
What a great way to like let that continue to live on and help other businesses. And you know what works and what draws in the audience. So.
Yeah. And for the small businesses, I know there's so many aspects to it, especially if you're like, you know, you're selling products. Like maybe you're making products. Maybe you're dealing with that. Like you are dealing with so many different facets of things that if we can help you with that inbound marketing piece of things, that digital marketing piece of things, then and kind of give you that and let you run with that. And take that off your plate is something
that's a big
that we're working on.
Huge value.
Well, aren't we all trying to work smarter, not harder, and figure out a way to streamline what we're doing, or in that 1 hour or two that you have to work, like make the best of your time. So you're really providing.
To be able to copy paste instead of getting stuck there.
Well, thank you for sharing about your business. And again, it's adorethem.com, and it's Adore Them on Instagram, Facebook, everywhere else.
Kind of. Yes. I would go to adorethem.com. We have all the social links there. Okay. So I would click through. We were talking about this beforehand that handles are so hard to get, but they're a little bit wonky on the different platforms. But go to adorethem.com and you'll be able to find everything else.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, before we wrap it up, I want to know what your favorite thing is.
So while we were talking about like work-life balance and working with kids and all of that craziness, one of my local resources, one of my local go-tos is the Universal Athletic Club, their Kid Museum, which is like a McDonald's play area on steroids. Like it's like 3 levels.
It's like multiple levels, but it also is like deep.
There's like a bounce
you can look at it from the one side, and there's like it just keeps going.
It's like climb up this rope thing, and then go through this tunnel, and you get to like a bounce house or like a slide. Or
I was there for a birthday party, and I was like, "This is amazing!
It's amazing." So you don't.
My
have
child
to,
was there for a birthday party.
Yeah, you don't have to be a member. So they offer punch cards too, which I just went and bought one, and it's 10 visits for $60. So $6 a visit. Your kid gets to play for 2 hours. I bring my laptop. I go work in the cafe or down in the Kid Museum itself, and get 2 hours worth of work done. I don't see them because they're having so much fun. They come out sweaty and tired and hungry. We all go home.
That's so cool.
You know, it's a great local resource for working moms.
Yeah. What about you, Christine? What is your favorite thing this week?
Wow, I'm just thinking of something I ordered on Amazon, which came prompt because everything does.
Was it one of like the 14 packages over there?
Our poor male guys.
Oh my gosh.
I think they hate me.
Well, Rachel showed up the other day, and I had just looked outside somewhat previously to when she showed up, but she's like, what are all these packages?
It was like 5 packages.
5 or 6 packages. Most of them were my husband's, and he'll get like polos and try some on and then return some, and I do the same thing. It's just they all showed up at one time in one big pile.
That's so funny.
But I have a tutu for Nora's birthday.
Ooh.
So her first birthday is actually in 2 days from this episode being live. Her birthday is July 6th, and so we got her...
Mateo July 5th.
Such a great time. July 5th, I was wondering when this baby was going to come out because she was due July 1st.
Okay.
But I have her tutu, and she looks so cute in it, and I put it on her to try it, and she was just pulling up on the tool, probably wondering what in the world Mom just put her in. But I am just so excited to celebrate her birthday, put her in that tutu, and we'll have some family and friends over. And
are you going to let her do like the cake smash?
Yes. Yeah, we're like, eat some cake. Okay, so we went out to Shady Maple also recently with my mom. And of course, my mom is like, has ice cream, and she went to give Nora some, and I don't care. I'm like, sure, feed her some sugar. So I feel like Nora's already had a little bit here and there of sugar or, my Italian ice. Yeah. Have a bite, but nothing that she's really, full contact sport. So we're going to just let her have it and see what happens.
That's so exciting. So, I love it.
Favorite thing, cute little tutu.
That's going to be so
what's
fun.
yours, Rachel? I know, I'm excited.
We are going to the beach this weekend, and I feel like that's just my favorite thing. I
feel like you guys are there a lot, which is awesome.
My in-laws have a house
I'm always
there.
jealous.
So
everyone needs a place to get away.
I got really lucky when I married my husband. What's funny is that his parents have a house in Rehoboth, and like all growing up my whole life, my like very close family friends of ours have a house down there. So like we always grew up going down with them, and that was like the same town. Like we vacationed in my whole life.
Wow.
So then cool. Like Kyle and I were dating for a while, and he mentioned going away for a weekend and was like, yeah, my parents have a house. And I was like, where at? And it was just so ironic. I was like, no way. And then I was like, we need to get married.
Seal's the deal.
But it was so great. Like, even when we were dating, like, we went down with friends for a weekend. And, like, I feel like it's just been such a part of, like, I don't know, just, like, a part of our life. And now that now that we have our girls, I love that we get to take them down. And they love the water. And our dog loves it. Like, he gets to swim in the bay when we're down there. And it's just, like, our place to get away and relax a little bit. And his parents keep it very nice. Like, I feel like, I don't know,
which can be hard for a shore house.
It can be hard when you, like, want it to, not like you want to, like, go trash the house, but when you want to just, like, not worry about it.
But also I feel like even that, like, something about, like, the sea air and the humidity and the dampness.
Yes,
like,
it's harder to get things clean when it's so humid.
Yeah.
And they do keep it nice, and they just did all these renovations. So I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't want to be, like, afraid to, like, mess anything up. So I actually don't know if the dog's going to come along because I'm not sure how they're feeling about the dog with, like, the new flooring and all of that.
Yeah.
But it's great because they do keep it like their second home. And I think it might be because as they're getting older, they do spend more time down there. I don't know if they'll ever, like, retire down there and be there full time. But, yeah, I would love to, like, if we ever had the opportunity in, like, 20 years to, like, buy it from them, like, I'd be like, yes, can you please keep it in the family? Because we just like going down, getting away. I love to eat. So we try, like, new restaurants. I'm such a foodie. Like, I love trying new places. And, yeah. So that is my favorite thing.
That's so good. You need a getaway.
Speaking of food, I just went to Luca last night.
Ugh.
It was so delicious. If you haven't been to Luca in Lancaster, it's
the city?
newer. It's probably been there about a year now.
Probably a little more than a year.
You think so?
Yeah.
Maybe.
But I'm not exactly sure.
You're probably right. Kyle made that comment too when I said it was new. He's like, it's not new anymore.
It's new to you, so fair enough.
New to me. We were there once, like, when it first opened, but we haven't been there in a long time. So every time we go, we just try all kinds of new things, and
date nights are so
just like
great.
a little shout out because I thought it was so delicious. Putting it out there. Date nights are another favorite thing.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much, Shari, for joining us. And again, where can people find you real quick? Shout out.
Head to adorethem.com, ADORE, them, like we adore our kids. And you can find all of our stuff there.
And we'll be sure to tag you on our Instagram post so that people can get connected. Your resource is just so invaluable. And I love what you shared, that your mission is just to help every parent find joy in what they do. And whether parents feel that it is joyful or not at the time, you're such a great resource. So
Thank you.
Yeah, and I just
one other thing I wanted to mention, I forgot. I didn't
You're
mention
good.
it yet. But you can also, if you're into the listening side of things, you can find us on like iTunes or Google Podcasts or pretty much wherever.
Listen to the stories.
Podcasts. So
the articles.
Yeah, Krista and I read aloud the articles that are on our site and put them in podcast version. That way you're like doing dishes. You can hit play on Adore Them podcast and listen to some articles be read aloud to you.
I want to try that.
Yeah, and a great way to just, breeze through some things that you might not have time for otherwise.
Yep.
I wanted to mention, what's funny is you had just talked about this on our Instagram Live. So before recording tonight, we did a video, and we're going to be doing a live video each Wednesday. So typically our new episodes are released on a Wednesday, and we record on a Wednesday evening with our guests, or sometimes it's just Christine and I, but it's when we meet, we plan, and we would love to show you guys a little bit of what goes on behind the scenes. We've had people ask us about starting a podcast, like how do I do it? Like the logistics side of it, do I need to buy a microphone or all of those things. We are happy to answer for you guys. So we also want to give you a little preview of who we might be having on the show and what we might be talking about. So Wednesday evenings at 7:15, you'll be able to tune in live on our Instagram. It's the Thrive Podcast. And you'll be able to ask us your questions or ask our guests questions. And I'm super excited because we have a lot of, we just booked some guests for the next month or two. So we have a lot of really great people coming on the show.
Awesome. So keep tuning in. There's a lot of good content coming. We're just so thankful that you are a part of our community. If you haven't also signed up for our list on email, please do that because we would love to just be able to connect with you throughout our week. Shari, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me. It was fun. It's always good to just sit and chat and watch 50 minutes go by like that.
Yes, and tell your boys thank you for sharing you with us.
Yes.
Because I know they're here tonight.
I
I know.
You can tell them you got lots of fun ideas from other mommies.
They had to go sit at a planning commission meeting tonight because we double booked. So Daddy got them.
So it was an iPad night.
Exactly.
Here's the iPad.
Headphones.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well,
Perfect.
you got to do what you got to do. And if no one told you yet this week, moms,
You're doing amazing. Thank you so much for listening today. You are a part of a growing community of women, moms, and business owners who are here to encourage and inspire. You can connect with Rachel on Instagram at Rachel Klein Creative or like her Facebook business page for web design and marketing tips.
keep up with Christine and all her latest events at Christine Campbell Events on Instagram. Another way to get involved and be first to hear about upcoming podcast guests and giveaways is to join our email list. You can sign up at rachelkleincreative.com/thethrivepodcast. And if you've enjoyed listening, be sure to write us a review on iTunes so that we can continue encouraging moms and businesswomen each week.